Review of the previous du'as. Dua for mercy. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. Dua for seeking forgiveness of Allah. Astaghfirullah Rabbi min kulli dhanbin wa atubu ilayh. Dua for the acceptance of all good deeds. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. And we should make all of these du'as a part of our daily du'as that we make, especially in this month and during the night prayers. The next dua when breaking the fast, which is specifically only during the time that we break the fast, and drink water. ذهب الظمأ وابتلت العروق وثبت الأجر إن شاء الله. The next dua is for Laylatul Qadr, for seeking whenever, so during the last 10 nights of inshallah bismillah, we'll be starting from tomorrow or day after, depending on when people start fasting. So we should start saying these duas during our day and especially during the night, because we don't know which day it will be the Laylatul Qadr. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Okay, so oh Allah, you are the most forgiving and you love to forgive, so forgive me. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Okay. The next dua that we're going to do today, this is the dua that comes in Sajdatul Tilawa. So what is Sajdatul Tilawa? It's the sajda when that comes an ayah of, so there are certain ayahs in the Quran, okay, which there is a sajda. There are about 15 ayat in the Quran, which and in the ayah the word sajda or yasjudun, okay, it's mentioned. So when a person is reciting the Quran, or you will notice in your qiyam, the imam will say in the first rakah there is a sajda, or in the second rakah there is a sajda. Okay, so meaning there's an ayah of sajda. So in that ayah, when a person is reciting that, so while reciting, if a person is reciting, let's say Quran during at home, so they will pause, they will go make sajda, and they will come back. Just one sajda, not two, not the two that we make in our salah. And similarly, when, for example, we're praying the qiyam or our nafil prayer, and or any even fard prayer, okay? So what happens is, once we're reciting, we're in qiyam position, right? We're in a standing position. When an ayah of sajdatul tilawa comes, meaning there is the word sajda or requires us to make sajda, and in the Quran you will see there'll be a minaret right next to the ayah. So what the person will do is that they will go directly into sajda from the standing position. One sajda, they will come and stand back, then continue their salah as usual, meaning they will do the qiyam, ruku, and the two sajdas that come in a regular rakah. Okay, so this is the sajdatul tilawa. And the dua, when you go into sajda, this is the prophetic dua that Prophet ﷺ used to make. Okay, so sajada wajhiya lilladhi khalaqahu. I have prostrated my face to the one who created it, meaning the one who created my face. Sajada wajhiya lilladhi khalaqahu. I have prostrated, I put my face into sajda to the one who created my face. وَشَقَّ سَمْعَهُ, and gave it hearing, meaning gave my face ears and I'm able to hear. وَبَصَرَهُ, and gave my face eyes and the sight. بِحَوْلِهِ وَقُوَّتِهِ, by his might and by his power. فَتَبَارَكَ اللَّهُ, so glory be to Allah. Allah is full of barakah. Ahsanul Khaliqeen, who is the best of creator. That means Allah has created my face, and this is the face I put into prostration. And this face, not just He created the face, He gave us the hearing, He gave us the sight, and فَتَبَارَكَ اللَّهُ أَحْسَنُ الْخَالِقِينَ. Okay, so this is the dua, and today when we'll be doing the surahs I will be doing, there will be a sajdatul tilawa in that. Okay, so sajada wajhiya lilladhi خلقه وشق سمعه وبصره بحوله وقوته فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين. If you do not know this dua, then just break it down into parts and memorize. That's the easiest way to memorize even a longer dua. So سجد وجهي للذي خلقه وشق سمعه وبصره بحوله وقوته فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين. So break it down into wherever you see the commas on your screen, break it down into that and memorize. And whenever there's sajdatul tilawa, you can make, or even in general, in your voluntary prayers, if you go into sajda, you can say this dua as well. Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let's begin with Surah At-Takwir. You can pray the recitation.
إذا النجوم انكدرت وإذا الجبال سيرت وإذا العشار عطلت وإذا الوحوش حشرت وإذا البحار سجرت.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Surah At-Takwir. إذا الشمس كورت, when the sun is put out. When the sun is covered, كورة means to cover like a turban. So the sun is completely covered up. Okay, so these are this surah describes, and the following next couple of surahs also, actually the whole 30 to 29, 30 just talks about the akhirah. Okay, the akhirah, and 29 just had the focus on the actions of the one who calls people to Allah. And the 30th just specifically talks about the akhirah, the resurrections, the book of deeds of a person, okay, and also the misconceptions that people have about the akhirah, Jannah and Jahannam. Okay, so Surah Takwir. وَإِذَا النُّجُومُ انكَدَرَتْ, and when the stars will fall down, the stars will literally start falling off the sky, because they're again, why these things are happening on the day of judgment is because their job is over. The reasons why the stars were there, the reason that the sun were there, the earth, the world is coming to an end. So their purpose is served. Okay. وَإِذَا النُّجُومُ انكَدَرَتْ, and when the stars fall down, وَإِذَا الْجِبَالُ سُيِّرَتْ, and when the mountains are blown away, meaning the mountains will turn to dust or like cotton. They'll be crumbled up, and then they'll be like, when things, if you crush down a rock, what it becomes dust, and it can easily blow and spread anywhere. So imagine this is the scene. The whole world is basically turning upside down. وَإِذَا الْعِشَارُ عُطِّلَتْ, and when the pregnant camels are left unattended. And here the Aishar is a 10-month pregnant camel, she camel. And this is actually a very, very precious commodity for the Arabs. It was like, you can think of even the most expensive car, or even more than that actually, because cars, they're material. This is the living being, right? So this is not only a she camel by itself, it's pregnant, meaning it also has another camel within it. So that's like two, right? And this was a big precious thing for the Arabs, because they would make a lot of money out of it. Okay, but these precious things which no one would ever leave alone, they would protect, they will leave it. It will not be protected. وَإِذَا الْوُحُوشُ حُشِرَتْ, and when the wild beasts are gathered together. And again, all of these things are unnatural. You can never put wild beasts together. What's going to happen in a normal setting? When you put wild animals together, they're going to attack each other. But on the day of judgment, when they're being put together, they are not going to. And unnatural things, which are not natural in a normal setting, is happening. وَإِذَا الْبِحَارُ سُجِّرَتْ, and when the seas are set on fire. Again, unnatural. See, water is opposite of fire, right? But here the water will be set on fire. And another explanation is the sun will fall into the sea, and hence the sea will boil over. وَإِذَا النُّفُوسُ زُوِّجَتْ, and when the souls and their bodies are paired once more, meaning the people who have left this world, their souls are being paired meaning when they're rising from, when their souls are being put back into the body, the physical form, and they're coming back onto they're being resurrected. Another explanation is that when the people of similar deeds are being put together, nufusu zuwijat, meaning people with similar deeds are being grouped, right? Day of Judgment is called Yawm al-Fasl, meaning also a day that people will be separated in groups. Okay, so people that who are the people who loved each other in dunya, they'll be put together in the hereafter. And people who, they love to spend time with each other. So people who love to spend time in each other's company, the righteous company, they will be put together. And people who love to spend time together with other people who distracted them from the deen and from a company that took away from Allah, they will be put together whether they like it or not. They would not want to be with such people. But again, they'll be put together. So we have to be very careful what kind of company we choose in this dunya. Because on the day of judgment, we will be put with the people that we chose to spend time with. وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ, when a baby girl buried alive would be asked, بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ, and it will be asked for what crime they were put to death. Meaning the baby girl that were buried alive, and in the time of in the pre-Islamic times, that they used to bury the baby girls. Okay, and Qais bin Asim, he was a Sahabi at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, "O Messenger of Allah, verily I buried some daughters of mine alive in the period of pre-Islamic ignorance." So before he became a Muslim, these were the things that he was engaged in, which was burying his daughters. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Free a slave for each one of them." Then Qais said, "O Messenger of Allah, verily I'm an owner of camels. I don't have slaves, I have a lot of camels." And the Prophet said, "Then sacrifice a camel for each one of them." Okay, so we'll learn a couple of things from this. So even the person who's committed the worst sins, obviously killing their own child, okay, if they repent to Allah, and they sincerely repent to Allah, and they come to Islam, then their previous sins are forgiven. Okay, and secondly, also we learn from this is that the one who did not have power in the dunya. Okay, and as we learn today's ayat, it's important to put whatever is happening in the world nowadays into context. People who did not have a voice, children who die, okay, children who are buried under the rubble, okay, and children who cannot speak because they are of an age that you cannot speak. They're very, very little and babies. Okay, they will be brought on the day of judgment, and they will be speaking. They will get a voice, and they will be asked. Okay, and the criminals who kill them, okay, and the ones obviously who did not. This is an example of a Sahabi, but people who are relentless in their crimes, and they will be brought in front, and their mouths will be shut, and the children will speak. They will be asked. Allah will ask the Mazloom to speak on the day of judgment. Okay, بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ, for what crime they were put to death. Meaning you were innocent. What was a crime that you committed that you were? Basically, it's a rhetorical question. There is no answer. They did not commit a crime. Okay, وَإِذَا الصُّحُفُ نُشِرَتْ, and when the records of the deeds are laid open, meaning everything that is done, that even was done privately, would be shown in front of the whole world. All our deeds, the things that we're ashamed of, and if we don't seek forgiveness from it, will be shown in front of everyone. And none of us would like our deeds to be, each and every of our deeds to be exposed to people. وَإِذَا السَّمَاءُ كُشِطَتْ, and when the sky is stripped open. وَإِذَا الْجَحِيمُ سُعِّرَتْ, and when the hellfire is fiercely flared up. وَإِذَا الْجَنَّةُ أُزْلِفَتْ, and when the Jannah, the paradise, is brought near. عَلِمَتْ نَفْسٌ مَا أَحْضَرَتْ, on that day each soul will know what deed it has brought forth. What did it bring forth? All the deeds that we do, every deed that we do, every moment, it's just going ahead. We have no control over the deeds that we have done. They keep going ahead. أحضرت, they're presented. Okay. فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِالْخُنَّسِ, I do swear by the receding stars, the returning stars. الْجَوَارِ الْكُنَّسِ, which travel and hide. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا عَسْعَسَ, and the night as it falls. وَالصُّبْحِ إِذَا تَنَفَّسَ, and the day as it breaks. Meaning, in all of these couple of ayahs, you see things moving in a motion. Things are going, happening again and returning to their, so day comes, for example, there's nighttime, then night goes away, then day comes. So this shows movement, meaning this shows the movement of life as well. Because life is very temporary and everything has to return back. And to who? To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلُ رَسُولٍ كَرِيمٍ. Indeed, the word, meaning the Quran, is the word of Allah delivered by Jibril, a noble messenger of noble messenger, meaning the angel. ذي قوة عند ذي العرش المكين, full of power, held in honor by the Lord of the throne. Okay, meaning then Jibril alayhi salam is very mighty. He's a mighty angel. He's honored. He's the leader of the angels. And Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu narrated that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I saw Jibril at the lote tree, and Sidratul Muntaha. When Rasulullah went all the way for Isra wal Miraj, he went all the way under the Arsh of Allah is Sidratul Muntaha, which is a beautiful huge tree. Okay, a low tree. And Jibril alayhi salam had 600 wings, and there were multicolored pearls and rubies falling from his wings. Okay, so that he is that mighty and that beautiful. Okay. Muta'in thamma amin, obeyed there in heavens and trustworthy, meaning all the angels listen to Jibreel alayhi salam. He is the angel of the leaders, and he is the one who brought down the Quran. Meaning this just shows us the status of the Quran. It is being brought down by the most trustworthy angel. It's not an ordinary book. It's brought by the leader of the angels. Okay. وَمَا صَاحِبُكُمْ بِمَجْنُونَ, and your fellow man is not insane. Meaning Rasulullah is not, na'uzubillah, he's not majnoon. He's not insane. He's not bewitched. Majnoon comes from jinn. He's not bewitched by someone. Okay, so meaning this Quran is the most logical. Okay, it's a miracle from Allah, and no crazy na'uzubillah or anyone who is majnoon would get the book, would receive such kind of a book. Read the book. Allah is saying, read the book. Can you think that someone who is majnoon can get this book? Okay. وَلَقَدْ رَآهُ بِالْأُفُقِ الْمُبِينِ, and he did not see that he did see that angel on the clear horizon, meaning that when Rasulullah SAW was receiving the book, receiving the revelation, he saw angel Jibril in the real form. Okay, and human beings, can we see the angels? No, we cannot see the angels except at the time of our death. That's when we will see whether you like it or not, every human being will see the angel at the time of their death. وَمَا هُوَ عَلَى غَيْبِ بِضَنِينٍ, and he does not withhold what is revealed to him of the unseen. Meaning Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he does not whatever Allah gave him, whatever Allah revealed to him, he revealed to the mankind. He never held back any information. وَمَا هُوَ بِقَوْلِ شَيْطَانٍ رَجِيمٍ. So this Quran is not a word of a outcast devil. These are all the allegations that people used to say about the Quran and about the Rasul. This cannot be the word of a shaitan, because it's the most pure word, came from a trustworthy angel. There's no, and these are things that these are things that there is no corruption in the book. The book is not crooked. The book does not have anything that is conflicting the Quran. So this cannot be a word of shaitan. Shaitan is full of misguidance, right? فَأَيْنَ تَذْهَبُونَ. So this book is such a powerful, such a book that guides a person to the straight path. What path are you taking? فَأَيْنَ تَذْهَبُونَ. So what other path would you take? Why don't you pay attention to the Quran? إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا ذِكْرٌ لِلْعَالَمِينَ. Surely this Quran is only a reminder to the whole world. لِمَنْ شَاءَ مِنْكُمْ أَنْ يَسْتَقِيمَ. To whoever of you wills to take the straight path. Whoever wills, the Quran will guide. So you can't sit in the gatherings of Quran forcibly and expect to be guided. They were like, why I'm not becoming religious? Why? You have to will for the guidance. You have to wish for the guidance. Allah only guides the one who really wants to be guided. Allah really guides the person who strives to be guided. This is why it is so important to come to the gatherings of Quran. Because when you put the effort, you realize, and any human being, when they put the effort, they realize the worth of something. When you take things for granted, then the heart does not get guided. Okay. وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. But you cannot will to do so except by the will of Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. Meaning guidance comes from Allah as long as a human being is sincere in seeking the guidance. Surah Al-Infitar.
انفطرت وإذا الكواكب انتثرت وإذا البحار فجرت وإذا القبور بعثرت علمت نفس ما قدمت وأخرت.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. إذا السماء انفطرت, when the sky splits open. وإذا الكواكب انتثرت, and when the stars fall away. وإذا البحار فجرت, and when the seas burst forth. وإذا القبور بعثرت, and when the graves split open. Okay, so Surah Takwir and Fatar are twin surahs, and they're describing the same. When Rasulullah said, you want to know about the day of judgment, learn these surahs, because they give a picture, they paint a picture about the occurrences on the day of judgment. علمت نفس ما قدمت وأخرت. Each and every soul will know what it has sent forth and left behind. Okay, ما قدمت وأخرت. What is قدم? قدم means to send ahead. Okay, and every day we're sending our actions forward. Okay, and those actions which, so قدمت are actions that we prioritized and we did, and those are sent. And akharat can also mean actions that we left behind. That means a person left them and did not give priority to. Salah is the most important action, but a person did not give preference to salah or good deeds, then they left it behind. Akharat. Another meaning of qaddamat and akharat is also actions that are sent, that done in this dunya, and akharat meaning left behind, meaning the impression of the actions. Sadaqah jariyah, for example, when a person leaves this world, there's certain actions that they leave good, sadaqah jariyah or su'at jariyah. Okay, the actions that are good that they leave and they continue after a person leaves. For example, someone has done charitable actions like build a well or planted trees or sustaining an orphan, or it continues to happen even after they pass away. Or su'at jariyah can be like any evil actions. People have made videos and things and stuff, especially you have to be very careful with social media, what we leave behind. Person can leave from this world and still keep getting the sins because of all the filth that they have created and left back. قدمت and akharat can also refer to the impression that a person leaves on other people. The hurtful words. When we meet, every person has an impression of us. So if we say, we have a rude behavior, our akhlaq is not good, then that's what the impression that we have left behind unless we fix it. That's the impression that a person has, and that will stay, okay, until we mend it, or if we've gone from this world, then that's what people know us from. Okay. يا أيها الإنسان ما غرك بربك الكريم. O humanity, what has emboldened you against your Lord? Meaning, what has غرك, meaning what has deceived you from the generosity of your Rabb. Okay, why don't you see how Kareem, how generous Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is? الذي خلقك فسواك فعدلك. Who created you and fashioned you and perfected your design. So khalaqa means to create from nothing in the womb of the mother. فسواك, look at our each detail that a baby, the baby goes through processes and at different weeks develops different systems. Okay, so this is sawaka. Each and every detail is taken care of. Each and every system of the body is being taken care of. Okay, فَعَدَلَكَ, and made you so per adal means perfection, or everything is equal. Right? Hands are equal, legs are equal, number of fingers. So made you perfect human being. في أي صورة ما شاء ركبك, molding you in whatever form he willed. كلا بل تكذبون بالدين. But no, in fact, you deny the final judgment. You don't see how generous Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. You don't see how perfect your creation is. How perfect we look, how easily we're able to walk around, how easily we're able to eat and digest. All our systems work so much in harmony. وَإِنَّا عَلَيْكُمْ لَحَافِظِينَ, while you are certainly observed by the vigilant. Who are these observant? Meaning the angels. كِرَامًا كَاتِبِينَ, these honorable angels recording everything. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, angels come to you in succession by night and day, and all of them get together at the time of Fajr and Asr prayer. So there is a change of angels at the time of Fajr and Asr prayer. Those who have passed the night with you or stayed with you ascend to the heavens at the time of Fajr, and Allah asks them, though He knows everything, Allah knows everything, but He still likes to hear. He knows everything about you, but He still asks, in what state did you leave my slave? Meaning, when the angels are departing, the angels of the night are going, and the angels, new angels, there's a shift in duty. Okay, new angels are leaving and new angels are coming to spend time till the Asr time. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked these angels, what state did you leave my servant in? And the angels reply, when we left them, they were praying, and when we reached them, they were also praying, meaning the Asr and the Fajr prayer. Okay, so the angels change during these prayers, and we have to see not just prayer, but what deeds did we do from Fajr to Asr? Even today, what are the deeds? How many deeds have we done? Because it's a time then the angels change their shift and they tell, why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes to hear how, how obedient the servant has been, and He likes to hear, and that's why He asks the angels. Okay, so this is important, that whenever the angels are changing the shifts, that they always take something good about us, and especially we focus on our salawat. Okay, يعلمون ما تفعلون, they know whatever you do, meaning these angels know whatever. يعلمون, they know whatever you do, these angels know and they record. يفعلون, okay, يفعلون meaning every action. Every action that doesn't even need the presence of mind. Like you just move your finger, they record it. You just lift your feet, they record it. Okay, fa'ala. Fa'ala means every action that a person does. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if my slave, Allah says, if my slave intends to do a bad deed, O angels, do not write it unless he does it. So if you have intention of doing something bad and you don't do it, then Allah is telling the angel to not write it down. But if he does it, then write it as it is. But if he refrains from doing it for my sake, then write it as a good deed. So if a person intends to do something bad, like intend to say something bad or pick something bad or see something bad or anything, or skip, so skip over a salah, but they're like, no, I have to go pray, or I should just, so any intention, wrong intention, but they don't do it, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks the angels to write it down as a good deed. Because stopping oneself from a bad deed is also a good deed. Okay, so one thing is doing a good deed, so that's a good deed, but also stopping oneself from not doing bad is also a good deed. Okay, and this is what He asked the angels to write down. Innal abrara lafi na'im, indeed the virtuous will be in the bliss. Meaning abrar mean people who do all kind of good deeds, different variety of good deeds, not just salah, fasting, 5 pillars. No, they do all kind. They don't let go of. These are the abrar. Innal abrara lafi na'im, indeed the virtuous will be in bliss. Wa innal fujjara lafi jahim, and the wicked will be in the hellfire. Fujjar is a person who openly, the person who shamelessly does bad deeds, who's so open, who doesn't care anymore. That's a fajr. Okay, يَصْلَوْنَهَا يَوْمَ الدِّينِ, burning in it on the day of judgment. وَمَا هُمْ عَنْهَا بِغَائِبِينَ, and they will not have any escape from it. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا يَوْمُ الدِّينِ, what will make you realize what the day of judgment is? ثُمَّ مَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا يَوْمُ الدِّينِ, again, what will make you realize what the day of judgment is? This kind of adraka, these statements is to show that you cannot even know the extent. No matter how much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes it, it is much more intense than you can ever expect. يوم لا تملك نفس لنفس شيئا, it is a day no soul will be of any benefit to another whatsoever. والأمر يومئذ لله, and for all authority belongs to Allah on that day. No one can use anyone or any excuse on that day. Okay. Surah Al-Mutaffifin.
ويل للمطففين الذين إذا اكتالوا على الناس يستوفون وإذا كالوهم أو وزنوهم يخسرون ألا يظن أولئك أنهم لمبعوثون ليوم عظيم.
Surah Al-Mutaffifin. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wailul lil mutaffifin. Woe or curse of Allah on those who trick or defraud others. Allazina, who are the mutaffifin? This word. Allazina idha iktalu ala nasi yastawfun. Those who take full measure when they buy from people, meaning when they have to take their right, they take it in full. Wa iza kaluhum aw wazanuhum yukhsirun. But when they have to give the right to people, they give less. So they expect more from people, but when they expect full payment from people, but when it's the time to give back to people, they give less. Okay, and mutaffif is someone, it's not a huge, they don't make a huge trick, like they don't take a huge value out of it, they take small values out, so the other person doesn't even realize that they're being tricked. أَلَا يَظُنُّ أُولَٰئِكَ أَنَّهُمْ مَبْعُوثُونَ. So do such people not think that they will be resurrected? Okay, the one who has the fear of the hereafter, be very careful on this kind of transactions, whether it's business related or this kind of transaction is also between people, the amana of people. Okay, for example, the rights and responsibilities, this is very important. So ليوم عظيم, for a tremendous day. يوم يقوم الناس لرب العالمين, the day all people will stand before the Lord of the world. Rasulullah sallallahu Anas ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to Medina, the people of Medina were the worst people in terms of their weights and measures. They used to trick a lot. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he revealed Bailul lil mutaffifin. And after the first two ayat, when they learned this, they fixed themselves. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed by a pile of food. He put his finger in it and felt wetness. He said, O owner of the food, what is this? The owner replied, it was rained upon, O Messenger of Allah. Meaning the food, when he put his hand inside, maybe grains or rice, he felt like the rice at the bottom or the grain at the bottom were wet, but at the bottom. So he said, why did you not put it on top for the people to see? Meaning what the person did, the one who was selling, is that the rice that got wet or the grain that got wet, they put it underneath and they hid it by dry grains. So Rasulullah said, why did you put it on the top? Why are you trying to trick the other person into buying? And he said, whoever cheats, he's not one of us. And the one who cheats will be the cheating, and that person will be in the fire. So this includes the mutaffifin. This includes business transactions, buying and selling, any products. You should say, if there's a defect in something, you should reveal it before selling it to the one that is to the seller. The seller should do that before they sell to the customer. Also, it includes the rights and responsibility of people. We expect others to be so good to us, to give all our rights, right? But when it comes to us, we never think about us, our response. Like for example, children expect their parents to give all their rights. You'll say share, and similarly, parents will expect the children to give all the rights and share all these videos. And same with the spouses as well. Wife will expect the husband to give all her rights. The husband will expect, but we have to examine ourselves as well. So mutaffifin can come under this category too. When you're expecting your rights to be given, but when it comes to giving your responsibility or giving the right of others, we lack in that. Okay, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here emphasizes to this. I also looks upon, for example, when others wrong us, what do we do? When others wrong us, we become very angry. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, fa'fu wasfahu. That means forgive and forget. So forgive and forget when people do it. But what about when we hurt people? What about when we hurt people intentionally or intentionally? Do we go and ask for forgiveness? Do we seek? So when a society is made of people, right? So when people each individual looks at their mistakes and tries to fix themselves and fixes their responsibilities and gives the rights of people, then the society as a whole will become a very harmonious society. Okay, and it starts from home. So when each person starts looking at themselves, how am I as a child, or how am I as a sister, or how am I as a mother, or so, and I have to give my. And what is ihsan, right? The Jannah is for a muhsin. The people of Jannah will be muhsinin. What is ihsan? Ihsan is when The other person is not giving you right, but you still give them their right. Okay, a believer's life is not transactional. Or just because you do good to me, so I'm going to do good to you. Everyone does that, or most people do it, whether they believe in Allah or not. You're good to them, they're good to you. But a believer, even if people are, and how was, you look at this example, look at the prophets, look at Rasulullah Alaihi Wasallam, how was his life? When people did bad to him, he did good to them. Okay? So here Allah subhanahu says, idfa billati hiya ahsan. In Surah Al-Fussilat, He says, replace the evil with good. When someone does evil with you, you do good with them. That's the hardest part. But that's actually ihsan. That's actually going above and beyond. Okay, so this is something, the quality we have to embody in ourselves. Okay, and this makes the life so much easier. Okay, because then a person does not delve in difficult feelings and hard feelings and emotional and anger and resentment, because these are all gone. When you do good to others, and even if they're doing bad to you, at least you know that you're doing this for the sake of Allah and not for the sake, just because someone does good to you, do good to them. That's not how a believer's life is. كلا إن كتاب الفجار لفي سجين. But no, the wicked are certainly bound in Sijin, in the depths of hell, meaning the kitab, the book of the wicked people, the Fujar, it is in Sijin. Sijin is like a prison in the lowest part of the earth. Okay, and this is where the book of the evil, it is said that the souls and the book of evil people will be kept in it until the day of judgment. Sijin. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا سِجِّينَ. And what will make you know what is Sijin? Kitab marqum, a fate already sealed. This kitab cannot be changed. Okay, it's marqum. وَيْلٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ. Curse on and woe on that day to the deniers. الَّذِينَ يُكَذِّبُونَ بِيَوْمِ الدِّينِ. Those who deny the day of judgment. وَمَا يُكَذِّبُ بِهِ إِلَّا كُلُّ مُعْتَدٍ أَثِيمٍ. And none would deny it except every evil transgressor. The one who is indulged in committing sins. Only that person will deny it. Otherwise, it's so obvious. The day of judgment, the akhirah is so obvious. إذا تتلى عليه آياتنا قال أساطير الأولين. Whenever the ayat of the Quran are recited to them, they say these are just stories. Why I don't have to follow it? Why I have to read it? Why I have to learn it? Yeah, it's there. It happened in the past. Why is Allah even mentioning this? So they'll just call it, like, they won't take it seriously. Okay. كلا بل ران على قلوبهم ما كانوا يكسبون. But no, in fact, their hearts have been stained by the evil they used to commit. Meaning all of their evil deeds has caused a person's heart to sin, cause a person's heart to become hard. That's why sometimes salah or standing in tarawih or sometimes reading the Quran does nothing to the heart. It doesn't have an effect on the heart because the person is not stopping themselves from committing sins. Okay. So Bakr bin Abdullah, he was the pious predecessor. He said that when a person does evil thing, it's like a prick on the heart. And when a person commits a sin, it's like a needle pricking on the heart. That means you can't really see the hole. It's that small. But then the hole gets bigger, and then when the person continues to do evil deeds, this hole becomes bigger, and the person cannot continue to do anything good. And also the person is not consistent in doing good deeds. This is also important. When the heart becomes hard, one day you're very motivated. You come to the class, you do it, you learn, you read the Quran, you read this much pages, you do it, you pray your 5 prayers. The next day, you miss some prayers, you're unable to go, you're unable to get up. The inconsistency. So inconsistency in good deeds also comes when a person is sinful. Okay? When a person is not leaving the sins. There are two ways of gaining Jannah. Is one is doing good and one is leaving bad. And these both things are good. When a person does good deeds and when a person leaves bad things. When a person stops, it's equally important that when a person is doing good, they also have to stop the bad as well that they're engaged in. Okay? So, because in the beginning, the good deed seems hard. But when a person continues doing it, the heart craves it. The heart loves the good deed. And that's why even when a person is sick and tired and exhausted and stuff, they still rush to do the good deed. They still have the energy to do the good deed. And on the other hand, when a person does the bad deed, okay, it becomes evil deed is very easy. And over the time, it stops a person to do any good thing. So the heart becomes totally hard. When you expose it to the Quran, when you expose it to Salah, the heart is not even there. Okay? And then Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reported Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Verily, when a servant commits a sin, a black mark appears upon their heart. If he abandon the sin and seek forgiveness and repents, then the heart will be polished." So, what is the way out of this? Istighfar. So, is in this month, and this is something we should continue to do that even after this month, is make more and more istighfar so that our heart becomes clean. So we're able to continue doing good deeds. Okay, so to be able to continue doing good deeds and to be consistent in our good deeds is very important. Allah loves actions that are consistent, small but consistent, rather than doing something big one day and then not doing. That's why rather than giving a huge amount of charity in one day and then next day and the whole next week you don't give any charity, it's better to give little every day, because Allah loves the deeds that are consistent. And to be able to do deeds that are consistent, one should cleanse their heart. And the way to cleanse the heart is doing more istighfar. Astaghfirullah, doing the du'as of istighfar and doing that cleanses the heart. كلا إنهم عن ربهم يومئذ لمحجوبون. And undoubtedly they will be sealed off from their Lord on that day, meaning they will never, these fujar will never be able to see the greatest blessing that a person can have is to see Allah, to see their creator. But these people will not be able to see their creator. ثم إنهم لصال الجحيم. Moreover, they'll surely burn in the hell. ثم يقال هذا الذي كنتم به تكذبون. And they will be told this is because of whatever you used to deny. كلا إن كتاب الأبرار لفي عليين. But the abrar, those who love to do different kinds of good deeds, right? Those whose hearts were preserved. There was no blackening of the heart. Okay, these people, their books will be عليون. And it is said, what is this place? So their souls and their books before the day of judgment will be, the time period between a person, when a person dies versus when day of judgment happens, the time in the grave, the barzakh. Okay, so this person's soul and their books will be in Aliyin or Aliyun. And what is this place? It's said that it's in the heavens. Some people say it's near the lote tree, or some people say it's some scholars say it's under the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا عِلِّيُّونَ. And what will make you realize what Aliyun is? كِتَابٌ مَرْقُومٌ. Their book is sealed, it's preserved. Their good deeds are preserved. يَشْهَدُهُ الْمُقَرَّبُونَ. Witnessed by those nearest to Allah, meaning the angels protect their book. إن الأبرار لفي نعيم. Surely the abrar will be in the bliss, in happiness. على الأرائك ينظرون. They'll be seated on canopied couches, meaning the couches that are covered, gazing around. So they'll be relaxing on couches. تعرف في وجوههم نضرة النعيم. You will recognize on their faces the glow of delight. They'll be so happy. They'll be so joyful. يسقون من رحيق مختوم. They'll be given a drink of sealed pure wine. ختامه مسك. The drink itself will have a seal, that the seal itself will have fragrance. Okay, like musk. Okay, whose last sip will smell like musk. So let whoever وفي ذلك فليتنافس المتنافسون. So let whoever aspires to this strive diligently. Meaning, when people compete, so what should people compete for? People should compete for this. People compete in dunya, right? I want to get the best car. I want to get the best house. I want to get the best grades. I want to get the best degree. I want to get the best salary. I want my children to study in the best school. So best. Allah SWT says you compete, right? With this house, now we want to change and get a bigger house. I want to get a bigger house. I want to get a better car. So the competition should be in doing good deeds. Who used to compete in doing good deeds? Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu and Umar radiallahu anhu. These companions of Rasul, they used to compete with each other. Okay, and they used to run and rush. And Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu would always be first. And Umar radiallahu would be like, damn, I always lose to Abu Bakr. Okay, so this is the kind of competition that Allah wants us to compete in doing good. Okay, وَمِزَاجُهُ مِن tasneem. And this drink flavor will come from tasneem. Tasneem is like a spring from Jannah. This drink will be mixed with the spring called tasneem. عَيْنًا يَشْرَبُ بِهَا الْمُقَرَّبُونَ. A spring from which those nearest to Allah will drink. So this means that the spring is closer to where Allah is. Okay, on the higher levels of Jannah. إن الذين أجرموا كانوا من الذين آمنوا يضحكون. Indeed, the wicked used to laugh at the believers. وإذا مروا به يتغامزون. Wink to one another whenever they passed by. And so basically, when people, Allah is describing that in dunya, the evil people used to make fun of the believers. Well, why are you doing this? Why are you spending so much time? This is just useless. Or you have to balance your deen and dunya. Well, and people completely misunderstand this, right? They say when balancing deen dunya, yes, you pray, but also in dunya you're engaged in all sort of wrong things. That's not balancing deen and dunya. Okay, or so see he people would make a lot of, or when the disbelievers make fun of the Muslims. Okay, وَإِذَا انقلبوا إلى أهلهم انقلبوا فكهين. And muse over these exploits upon returning to their own people, meaning when they go back to their people, they also tell the tales. This person, I saw them, my goodness, they this is just so weird. They dressed up so weird, they spend most of the time, like, what's the point of all of this? They make fun of these people. وَإِذَا رَأَوْهُمْ قَالُوا إِنَّ هَؤُلَاءِ إِنَّ هَؤُلَاءِ لَضَالُّونَ. And when they saw the faithful, they saw the believers, they would say, these people are truly astray. Even though they were the ones astray, but they'll call the believers, they're totally astray. They're totally gone. وَمَا أُرْسِلُوا عَلَيْهِمْ حَافِظِينَ. Even though they were not sent as keepers on the believers. Allah is saying, you're not the keeper. You're not responsible for the believers' deeds. Let them do what they're doing. Why are you so concerned about it? And one of the reasons why people make fun of another person is because of every human has that guilt inside them. When they feel that, they're not quote unquote religious enough, then they make fun of a believer because they in their heart know that they need to be striving to that point. Again, even a lot of the people who don't have iman in their heart, iman is treasure. Iman is a treasure. So when someone does not have iman, and when they see the Muslims, what is the problem with even what's happening in the world right now? Why, even after so much zulm that is that one group is doing, then what is the issue? They're like, why are these people so strong? Why are these people so much? They're losing their children. They're dying of hunger. But how come they're being abused left and right? How come they're still on La ilaha illallah? Because Iman is like a treasure. The one who doesn't have it, they become jealous of it. They also but they because of their misguidance and arrogance, they're never able to seek it. Okay? فَيَوْمَ فَيَوْمَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنَ الْكُفَّارِ يَضْحَكُونَ. But on the day, the believers will be laughing at the disbelievers. They'll be looking at them, the tables will be turned. عَلَى الْأَرَائِكِ يَنْظُرُونَ. And they will sit on their couches looking upon them. And sitting on the couches and looking upon them, meaning they're on a higher place. And these disbelievers are in a lower place in Jahannam. هل ثوب الكفار ما كانوا يفعلون. The believers will be asked, have the disbelievers not been paid back for what they used to do? Meaning every person will be recompensed on the day of judgment. These ayats are enough to make sense of even what's happening in the world. You see reports of people, they are abusing, the groups are abusing Muslims and believers like anything. And then on top, laughing at it, making videos and laughing about it. So it's a clear, quote unquote, the one who has learned the Quran, they can witness. Even one of the scholars were saying that the people of Palestine are literally showing us things of the Quran. We're seeing it. We're seeing the things in the Quran through them, practice through them. It is exactly what is happening in the world. So subhan, this gives us so much understanding, puts things so much in perspective. Those who are doing this and laughing about it, making fun of it like mockery. Okay, they're abusing. And here on the day of judgment, when a person has yaqeen on the day of judgment, then the person knows that it will be turned, the table will be turned on the day of judgment. And that's a permanent thing. And the azab of the hereafter is everlasting. And the happiness in the hereafter is also everlasting. Okay, Surah Al-Inshiqaq.
إذا السماء انشقت وأذنت لربها وحقت وإذا الأرض مدت وألقت ما فيها وتخلت وأذنت لربها وحقت
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. إذا السماء انشقت, when the sky bursts open. وأذنت لربها وحقت, obeying its Lord as it must. Meaning the creation is waiting for the command of Allah. And we have so many commands of Allah given to us and we don't even obey. The creation, the sky is waiting for the command when Allah gives it the command and it's going to burst open. وَإِذَا الْأَرْضُ مُدَّتْ, and when the earth is flattened out, meaning when the earth is spherical right now, when the earth will be flattened out and will be laid out, then every human being, can be easily seen. And when the mountains have turned into dust and the mountains have gone, then the view is clear, meaning each and every human being that ever came on this world will be standing on this flattened earth. وَأَلْقَتْ مَا فِيهَا وَتَخَلَّتْ, and the earth will eject all its contents and become empty, meaning all the secrets of the earth, things that we don't even know, and the human beings could never find out. Those mysteries and treasures and gems and dead bodies, everything will become, the earth will empty itself out of everything. وَأَذِنَتْ لِرَبِّهَا وَحُقَّتْ, obeying its Lord as it must. Surely you will all be judged. يَا أَيُّهَا الْإِنسَانُ إِنَّكَ كَادِحٌ إِلَى رَبِّكَ كَدْحًا فَمُلَاقِيهِ. O humanity, indeed you all are exhausting or laboring restlessly towards your Rabb and will eventually meet him and the consequences. Day after day, meaning each day that passes, we're getting closer to meeting our Rabb. فَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ, and as for those who are given their record in their right hand, the one who is given their book of deeds in the right hand on the day of judgment, فَسَوْفَ يُحَاسَبُ حِسَابًا يَسِيرًا, they will have an easy hisab. What is an easy hisab? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if a person gets questioned, meaning they're given the book and they're asked, why did you do it? By Allah, they question, that person is destroyed. Because what answer can they give? So hisaban yasira, easy hisab, is when a person is shown their deeds and not ask anything. See, this is what you did. This is some of your mistakes you made, but we're not going to count the mistakes because you made istighfar. You've asked Allah's forgiveness because Allah is all merciful and you seek Allah's forgiveness. So the one who is given his book in the right hand, and who will have an easy hisab? The one who was easy with people in dunya, the one who was flexible in dunya with people, the one who did not give hard time to people. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever is kind and easygoing, Allah will forbid him from entering hellfire. The one whose nature, who makes things easy for people, who doesn't make things hard for people, Allah will make things easy for that person on the day of judgment. وَيَنْقَلِبُ إِلَى أَهْلِهِ مَسْرُورًا, and when that person gets the book of deeds in the right hand, that person will rush to their family in happiness. They will rush to their family with happiness, just how in dunya when we get a good news we rush to our families. وَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ وَرَاءَ الظَّهْرِ, and as for those who are given their record in their left hand or from behind their backs, meaning when they're given the book in the left hand, it's a bad news, so they will just hide it behind their back. Because when someone does not like their result, what does a guilty person do? They hide their result. They don't want to show it to other people. Okay? فَسَوْفَ يَدْعُو ثُبُورًا, this person will cry for instant destruction. Why cry for instant destruction? Because a person knows that what is coming ahead is so scary. They don't, the moment they get their book, they'll be like, I wish I never exist. I wish I was destroyed. فَيَصْلَى سَعِيرًا, and that person will burn in the hellfire. إِنَّهُ كَانَ فِي أَهْلِهِ مَسْرُورًا, for they used to be prideful among their people, meaning they were happily spending their time in this dunya, and seeking the temporary happiness of the dunya. إِنَّهُ ظَنَّ أَن لَن يَحُورَ, thinking they would never return to Allah. Bala inna rabbahu kana bihi basira. Yes, they would. Surely their Lord has been seeing over them, always watching them. Fala uqsimu bishafaq. So I do swear by the twilight. Shafaq is like the light that comes during Maghrib time, the redness in the sky. Wal qamari iza tasak, and by the moon when it waxes full. Latarkabunna tabaqan an tabaq. You will certainly pass from one state to another. Meaning, just like the sun sets and the moon comes, okay, just like all the things in the nature are moving, similarly a human being is also moving. The human being is also going from one step of their life to another. from from a baby to a toddler to adolescence, then teenage, and then adult, and so on and so forth in their life. Like from middle school, high school, university, you're passing through one stage, which shows that we have no control over our life. فَمَا لَهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. So what is the matter with them that they do not believe? وَإِذَا قُرِئَ عَلَيْهِمُ الْقُرْآنُ لَا يَسْجُدُونَ. And when the Quran is recited to them, they do not bow down in submission. So this ayah is the ayah of Sajdatul Tilawa. Okay, it has, you will see there's a minaret next to it as well. So here you can make sajda right now. Okay, and you can also read the dua of sajda. So just take a moment and make sajda, just one single sajda, and you can come back and continue continue the reading of the Quran. Ayah number 22, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. بَلِ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا يُكَذِّبُونَ. In fact, the disbelievers persist in denial. وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا يُوعُونَ. But Allah knows best whatever they hide. فَبَشِّرْهُم بِعَذَابٍ أَلِيمٍ. So give them good news of a painful punishment. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mocking them, saying that give them, can a painful punishment be good news? No, but Allah is saying give them good news of the painful punishment. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَهُمْ أَجْرٌ غَيْرُ مَمْنُونٍ. But except those who believe and do good will have never-ending reward. Meaning the one who strives to continue to do good deeds, they strive for that which is permanent, they will have a permanent reward. The one who works for the permanent result is never in this dunya, because this dunya is temporary. So the one who works for the permanent result, meaning in the hereafter, will have the permanent reward. The one who works for the temporary, they'll get the dunya, but then they will have permanent punishment. So may Allah make us of those people who strive for the permanent reward, and not the temporary reward of this dunya. I mean, Surah Al-Buruj.
والسماء ذات البروج واليوم الموعود وشاهد ومشهود قتل أصحاب الأخدود النار ذات الوقود.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Surah Al-Buruj. وَالسَّمَاءِ ذَاتُ الْبُرُوجِ. By the sky full of constellations. وَالْيَوْمِ الْمَوْعُودِ. And the promised day of the day of judgment. وَالشَّاهِدٍ وَمَشْهُودٍ. And the witnessed and what is witnessed. قُتِلَ أَصْحَابُ الْأُخْدُودِ. Condemned are the people, the makers of ditch. Who are the Ashab al-Ukhdud? These were the people, this is a story in the Quran of the people of the trench. So basically there was a king, an evil king, who dug up a trench. Okay, and threw, trench mean a ditch in the ground full of fire, and threw anyone who believed into the fire. So Allah says, Qutila, meaning curse onto the people who made this trench, the king and his people. Okay. So, النار ذات الوقود, and the fire pit filled with fuel. إذ هم عليها قعود, when they sat around it and watching, laughing when throwing believers into it. وَهُمْ عَلَى مَا يَفْعَلُونَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ شُهُودٌ, watching what they had ordered to be done to the believers, meaning they're watching a show, throwing the believers into the fire and laughing and watching it like it's entertainment for them. وهم على ما وما نقموا منهم إلا أن يؤمنوا بالله العزيز الحميد. Who they resented for no reason, meaning they did not like the believer for any reason except the fact that other than the belief in Allah. Meaning the reason why they punish these people is because they said La ilaha illallah. And it is said that there was a mother and they were throwing the people into the ditch. And there was a mother who was hesitant because she had a baby, and the baby spoke. That baby spoke is one of the other three there were three examples in the Quran where the baby spoke. Isa alayhi salam, this baby, and then there was a baby in the court of Pharaoh who was the child of the hairdresser of the daughter of Pharaoh. This is one example from there. So this child spoke and said to the mother that, "Oh mother, do not hesitate." And for a believer, even that fire, even that pain, even the torture becomes coolness, like the fire cooled for Ibrahim alayhi salam. So we never know that the world sees the apparent punishment, but we don't know. We see the hurt and the limbs, and it's very painful to see, but we don't know what those people are experiencing. Maybe that pain and the loss of a limb or something, it's actually, is painless. Maybe it feels even better. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. So for a believer, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if a person has belief in Allah, that the apparent pain is not even it's even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cools, that brings the coolness to the heat that comes from, or the coolness to the pain that comes from that. الذي له ملك السماوات والأرض والله على كل شيء شهيد. The one to whom belongs the kingdom of the heavens and the earth, and Allah is a witness over all things. إن الذين فتنوا المؤمنين والمؤمنات ثم لم يتوبوا فلهم عذاب جهنم ولهم عذاب الحريق. Those who persecute the believing men and the women, and do not repent, will certainly suffer the punishment of the hell and the torment or the burning of the fire. The one who caused pain to the believers, what is their result? Firstly, the one who suffers the pain. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no fatigue, no disease, nor sorrow, nor sadness, nor hurt, nor distress befalls a Muslim. Not even emotional pain that comes to a Muslim, to a believer, that even if it's a prick that he receives from a thorn, that Allah expiates some of their sins from it. So forget about the physical pain, even emotional pain. Some things, sometimes things said by someone just keep circling in our mind. It causes so much pain to our heart. So even that is a source of expiation of one's sin, meaning sins get washed away from it. But what happens to those people who hurt the believers, who cause hurt and pain to the believers? Okay, it is said that it comes from a hadith, that there are wells in the hellfire. There are wells in the hellfire, and each well has water like the sea. I mean, deep, deep wells. There are insects and snakes and scorpions, and when the people of hellfire will request the heat to be decreased, then it will be set for them to go to these wells. When they go to these wells, these animals, the insects, the snakes, the scorpions, the huge black scorpions, they will attack the people of the hellfire and bite them on the lips and bite them anywhere that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked them to do. And then these people again will run back to the fire because of the pain that's being caused by the biting of these animals. And then they will go and this fire will cause their skin to itch. And when they will itch their skin, then the skin will come off and their bones will be exposed. They will be asked, do you feel the pain? Do you feel the pain now? And the disbelievers will say, yes. And it will be said to them, it is because you used to cause pain to the believers. So this is the painful punishment of the people who deliberately cause pain to the believers, who hurt the believers. So all the zulm that is happening in the world with the believer, because it's not normal, and Allah will bring to justice for the one who has been wronged in this world. إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات لهم جنات تجري من تحت أنهار ذلك الفوز الكبير. Surely those who believe and do good will have gardens under which rivers flow. That is the greatest triumph. So Allah says, don't be disappointed by the losses of this dunya. Even if you don't get what you want, even if you don't receive material things or otherwise too. If someone does not receive, let's say, a peaceful life with their spouse, then do not be, disappointed by it, because there is the greatest success is the success of the hereafter, and these are the tests of this life. Inna batasha rabbika lashadid. Indeed, the crushing grip of your Lord is severe, meaning the hold of Allah is severe. Innahu huwa yubdi wa yu'id. For He is certainly the one who originates and resurrects all. Wa huwa al-ghafur al-wadud. And He is all forgiving and all loving, meaning Allah loves those who seek His forgiveness. Zul arsh al-majid, Lord of the throne and the all glorious. Fa'alu lima yurid, doer of whatever he wills. Hal ataka hadithul junud. Has the story of the destroyed forces reached you, O Prophet? Meaning Fir'aun nama Thamud, the forces of Fir'aun and Thamud, how their nations were destroyed. Bal alladhina kafaru fi takzeeb. Yet the disbelievers still persist in denial, seeing the people in the past, how they were destroyed. They were so mighty. They were so huge. They're mightier than the forces that we see in the world right now, but they were destroyed. Okay? Wallahu min waraihim muhit. But Allah encompasses them from all sides. Bal huwa Quranun Majid. In fact, this is the glorious Quran, fi lawhin mahfuz, recorded in a preserved tablet. Meaning this Quran is so mighty, it's so great. It's in a preserved tablet. It came to through the best angels, to the best prophet, to the best ummah. And what do we do with the Quran? What standard do we have? What level do we put the Quran in our lives? What priority do we give to the Quran? Surah At-Tariq.
والسماء والطارق وما أدراك ما الطارق النجم الثاقب إن كل نفس لما عليها حافظ فلينظر الإنسان مما خلق.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Was-sama'i wat-tariq, by the heavens and the nightly star. Wama adraka mat-tariq, and what will make you realize what this night star is? Tariq is a night star. An-najmu thaqib, it is a star of piercing brightness. Kullu nafsin, in kullu nafsin lamma alayha hafiz, there is no soul without a vigilant angel recording everything, meaning everything is recorded by the angels, and angels take care of all the affairs of the human beings. فَلْيَنْظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ مِمَّا خُلِقَ. Let people then consider what they were created from. Meaning what they were created from. Look at what a human being came from. خُلِقَ مِن مَاءٍ دافق. They were created from a spurting fluid. يخرج من بين الصلب والترائب, stemming from between the backbone and rib cage. Meaning the human being came from such, a disdain liquid. So this knowledge of where a human being came from should humble a human being, that I came from nothing. Basically, I came from just a liquid. So meaning that person, how can a human being be arrogant when the origin is so small? إنه على رجعه لقادر. Surely he is fully capable of bringing them back to life, just how he created us in the first time. يوم تبلى السرائر. On that day, all secrets will be disclosed. What was the intention behind the deeds? People see our outside and they praise us. People can see our very beautiful actions. We are doing this, or we're learning the Quran or teaching the Quran. We have this organization, this school, this thing, and people get very impressed from it. But what is the intention behind it? Or what is the intention behind a person doing it? Only Allah knows. We do not know. Human beings only see the apparent. On this, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam reported, verily the first people to be judged on the day of judgment will be a man who was martyred. He will be brought The blessings of Allah will be made known to him, meaning a shaheed will be brought and he will be shown all the blessings that Allah gave him. He will acknowledge them. Then Allah will say, what did you do with them? What did you do with the blessings that Allah, meaning the might and the power that Allah gave you? The man will say, I fought in your cause until I was martyred, until I became a shaheed. Allah will say, you have lied, for you fought only that it would be that people call you brave. Thus it was said that Allah will order him to be dragged upon his face until he is put in the hellfire. Another man studied religious knowledge, taught others, and recited the Quran. He will be brought, and the blessings of Allah will be made known, and He will acknowledge them. Allah will say, "What did you do? What did you do with them?" The man will say, "I learned the religious knowledge. I taught others. I recited the Quran for your sake." Allah will say, "You have lied, for you studied only that people would call you a scholar, and you recited the Quran only that people would call you a reciter, and thus it was said." Then Allah will drag him upon his face and put him in the fire. And lastly, a man will be given, who's given a lot of wealth, and every kind of wealth he will be brought, and his blessings will be shown, and Allah will say, "What did you do with the blessings?" The man will say, "I did not leave any good cause beloved to you, but I spent on your, meaning I gave a lot of charity." Allah will say, "You have lied, for you spent only, it would be said that you're such a generous man. People call you generous, and they praise you." And thus Allah will order him to be dragged upon his face until he's cast into the fire. So all of these actions, the intentions matter. The intentions matter the most, because all of these actions, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, from the hadith we learn that they were done for people and not for Allah, for the praise of people and not for Allah. So meaning that day all the intentions will be brought out too. What was really the intention of a human being or person in front of even the apparent good deed that they did? So the person who does any action for the sake of Allah does not need thanks from human beings. They need the pleasure of Allah, but not the praise of people. فَمَا لَهُ مِنْ قُوَّةٍ وَلَا نَاصِرٍ. Then one will have neither power nor any helper. وَالسَّمَاءِ ذَاتِ الرَّجْعِ. By the sky with its recurring cycles. وَالْأَرْضِ ذَاتِ الصَّدْعِ. And the earth with its sprouting plants. إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلٌ فَصْلٌ. Surely the Quran is a decisive word. وَمَا هُوَ بِالْحَزْلِ. And it is not to be taken lightly. إِنَّهُمْ يَكِيدُونَ كَيْدًا. They are certainly devising evil plans. Meaning the evil people are making up their own plans, or they're in their own world. وَأَكِيدُ كَيْدًا. But I too am planning. Allah says, I'm also planning. I also have my plan. فَمَهِّلِ الْكَافِرِينَ أَمْهِلْهُمْ رُوَيْدًا. So bear with the disbelievers, O Prophet. Let them be for just a little while. So meaning let them indulge in their ignorance. The people who commit sins, people who do apparent good deeds and for the praise of people, but they think they are, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say about the hypocrites? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the hypocrites that, you know, they think that they're fooling Allah, but who are they fooling? In Surah Al-Baqarah, they're only fooling themselves. They're in a delusion themselves. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching. You can do apparent deeds and people can praise you a lot for it. And you can do a lot of good deeds, and people, they're all hidden from people. What's the intention behind it? The intention should be from to do deeds for Allah's sake. This is why people don't, if you do a deed for Allah's sake, that a human being does not get disappointed from the reaction of other humans. Whether people praise or not praise, it doesn't matter. Okay, when a person does only for Allah, then Allah is the one who gives the reward. Secondly, the people, what we learn from this is the people who are plotting and planning against the believers, against, tricking the believers and hurting the believers. And what is that? They think they have their own plan, but Allah says Allah has a greater plan. And the one who hurts the believers, their end is terrible. Okay, and the pain that a believer faces is really not the pain. That pain is, Allah takes away the pain and brings, mercy to that person. And all kind of pain, emotional, physical, all kind of pain, every pain that comes to a believer, that pain is a source of mercy from Allah, meaning expiation of sins. So all of these things we have to see and put in our life, and put all of these things in context, especially today's ayat. We're all in context with even what is happening in the world. You can really see a clear picture of the things that people think they're doing, but what's the actual reality behind them. And this is how we see how, we can only imagine. When we can imagine what is the source of iman, the source of iman of people, of the believers, is the Quran. And those who are connected with the Quran, the thing is, the people, even in Palestine, it's not that they got connected to the Quran now. The Quran only comes in action when you practice the Quran before a calamity. So if you are in a good state and you're learning the Quran, then when you are in a difficult state, that's when the Quran will come out. Otherwise, what will come out? Anger, hatred, resentment. Okay, so may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us the people of the Quran. Ameen. Okay, so inshallah, bismillah, we will end our session here. Just one, inshallah, one announcement that I would like to make. Okay, so brothers halaqa and iftar is coming up this Sunday. So please, if you have brothers, sons, or anyone, please encourage them to join. And if you like to put any share towards the iftar, you can send any donations to info@alfonsoinstitute.com. Also, the next cause that we're working is the cause for Palestine. So providing hot meals to the people for iftar and providing medical aid. So you can send your donations to info@alfatinstitute.com, and we have partnered with Human Concern, and we'll be giving your donations to them. It'll be handed over to them, and Human Concern is actively working on the ground. They are doing everything possible with the limited aid that is reaching into the parts. They have their kitchens in all parts of Gaza, open in the north, in the south, in the Rafah, in all Rafah border. They have their kitchens and they want to expand it. As we know that Gaza Strip is very narrow, it's the most one of the most densely populated. Even when they have all these kitchens, they're able, because there's so many people. There were over a million to billion people in Gaza. And because of that, and because only how much can one kitchen or two kitchens serve, so they want to expand. So what they're doing is they're buying locally, and because the cost is so high, because of limited resources, the cost is so high to even buy. It's almost like $25 to feed two people. Okay, and you think that in place like in an Arab country or in Gaza, the food would be cheap, but it's not. It's like almost equivalent or more than here. Okay, so please, these are 10 days, 10 nights are approaching. Every day we need to be making sadaqah. We need to have a plan right now. If today is the day, today's Friday, and this is a good time to make dua, to make a plan, make your dua list, make your charity list. Every day I'm going to send this much. And if you don't make the list, you will just if you don't make a plan, you'll just exit Ramadan without doing anything. Okay, and the believer is the one who plans. Also, I'd like to share a video with you about from the people, the Human Concern. You can also check out how they're working on Instagram. You can check out their uh the social media page, how they're working, and we'll show you a video of their kitchens that they're operating. So they constantly post updates of how much things are going. وانتشت روحي وصارت دموعي يا إلهي قد قلبي رشادي أشرقت نفسي بنور من شرقت نفسي بنور من شرقت وانتشت روحي وصارت دموعي Okay, so inshallah, bismillah, please put anything and everything. And a lot of organizations are working, alhamdulillah. And the more, the better. The more we give, the better it is. And again, it is going towards Allah. This is not going, we're not doing a favor in anyone. Each one of us is going to be answerable for everything that happens, all of our blessings, all of the a lot of the comfort and the luxury that we have, we're answerable for it. Just think of it this way and donate little or small in the way of Allah. Little or big in the way of Allah, it doesn't matter. But keep doing it and do it every day. Send every day. You plan to spend, let's say you only do $50. So then five every day. You can do it, divide it this way. So that every day, because the angels are coming every day. So every day your charities are doing. Your charities are being counted. So give as much, and the more the better. This is what we can see. The only we see these things and we feel very upset, but the only two ways that we can help is make dua for them and to help with our resources that Allah has blessed us with the safety, the security, the food, the iftar, the suhoor that we're able to have. It's the blessed month of Ramadan. Very few days are left. Okay, so make the best of these days. And there's a time also to make a time between Asr and Maghrib. This is the best time to make dua. Make dua for yourself. Allah opens and softens our heart and bring ease to us and ease to the people that are suffering and makes us among the people of Jannah, makes them accepts their sacrifice and our intentions, ibadat, our charities, inshallah, bismillah. جزاكم الله خيرا to everyone. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.